Welcome to Let's Talk About with Lili and Lu, the podcast in which we are going to discuss with you all the things that multidimensional women in the 21st century go through in hopes that we can break some taboos together. But first, every episode, we are going to start with a confession corner because Lu and I have actually never met in real life. We've only ever met over the internet. So we're like modern day priestess. And that's why we are going to do a confession corner with you. And I think that Lu is going to start this one off with her confession. Tell me, what did you do?
Okay. I'm feeling a little bit nervous about this one. I'm going to try to keep it short.
No, you can do it.
I just restarted seeing this guy, and so the reality is I've never been in a relationship. So he comes over to cook together, and I was in charge of found a recipe, actually asked a friend, and finding the ingredients. Almost got lost in the supermarket asking for stuff, just it's a bit ridiculous. And so I put all the ingredients on the bench, and I'm just so proud, kind of pretending that I know what I'm doing. And he comes over and he's like, "How many garlic cloves did you need?" And I'm like, 4. I bought 4 whole heads of garlic. And he looks at me and he's just like, "Oh my God, you've never cooked a day in your life. Let me do it."
How are you still alive?
Not good at all.
Not that I'm saying that there's anything wrong with garlic cloves, like never enough garlic, but 4 whole fucking things.
We didn't use it all. I still have some. I'm going to give my housemate, hopefully, or maybe to keep vampires away.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that's what garlic cloves are for as well, right? Yeah.
I think so.
That's nice. That's nice.
But what about you? Your turn.
Oh, okay. Okay. So my confession, my confession is about a boy as well. I started seeing this guy a year ago, and then we dated for a while, and then he moved away from the Netherlands. So we tried to keep it up, but it just bled a slow death. And then I was like, okay, I'm moving on. It's fine, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, I'm over that. And then the second he messages me saying, "Oh, actually, I'm coming to the Netherlands for a week. You want to hang out?" Yes.
They have a radar.
Yeah, I guess they do, don't they? They know. They can feel.
They know when you're moving on.
Yes, exactly.
Hey, I'm still
here.
Well,
yeah. I backslided big time, and I'm not ashamed. That's just my life right now. So yeah, that's my confession, and I think you actually know who I'm talking about.
I do, because we bonded over this guy. This is how you and I became friends. I think it was back in November on Instagram, starting to exchange voice messages about mixed signals and oh my God, I'm in a similar situation, blah, blah, blah.
I can't believe that's already a year ago.
Yeah, probably it's about that. Yeah, because we haven't met, and we found out we have similar dating experiences, values around feminism, love for twerking. We're both twerkers on Instagram. And by the way, you posted a caption last week that really resonated. It was, "Does being sexy and owning it ruin your career?" And there was this one sentence that really struck me. You said, "I just don't get how my booty is related to my brain capacity."
Preach.
Mic drop.
Don't get it. I do not get it. So yeah.
Neither do I.
The more, obviously we both twerk, and the more I do that, the more I wonder, what is it about a booty or being sexy in general that people really fall over, basically? So how did you start twerk?
Well, mine is an interesting story because I learned stripping. I'm still a stripper at the minute.
Oh.
Exotic dancer, whatever you call it. I go on stage, shake my booty. And so the girls taught me this move, but I took it home and I started having fun. I tried learning standing, upside down, all that stuff, got really excited. I learned that it's actually also a spiritual practice. Yeah. And it helps open up your root and your sacral chakra. It just feels really good. And for me, it was just a way to kind of reclaim power over my body, just like stripping. I used to work in rugby clubs, which are obviously a male environment back in
Very
France,
male
where I'm
dominated.
from. Male dominated, yes. And I used to kind of try to make myself more boyish, like one of the boys. I hate pink and that kind of stuff, so they wouldn't hit on me and I would blend in more, and I lost my femininity. So when I
That
started
hurts me
dancing,
so much to hear.
I know. And like even now, like everything about me is pink, because it's like I realized that I like pink again like 6 months ago. It's been 5 years. Like I was literally just like, Mom, stop buying me pink stuff because I hate this stuff. Just created a whole other personality kind of thing. And yeah, it was just reclaiming power over my body, relearning my femininity, and being sensual, being sexual. We're all sexual beings. It was just like making peace with myself, like healing. It was very healing for me. That's what twerking is actually. And what about you?
I love that. Well, for me, for the longest time, so I went to a dance academy and then I went to med school. And while I was in med school, I always thought that people couldn't perceive me as two things. They couldn't perceive me as like being sexy and smart. So if I picked to go to med school, I could not pursue the dance side of myself, and not necessarily just twerk, but like everything about that, but also like booty pics or bikini photos and stuff like that. You just couldn't do that. So I really suppressed that. And then at some point, I went to my first twerk class. My sister, my sister told me I should go because she's like, I think you're going to love the girl who teaches it. And I think you're just going to love it. So I went, and for the first time in the longest time, I looked at myself and I was like, damn, I can be sexy. I'm hot.
Oh yeah.
I'm loving the side of me, the backside.
You're hot.
I think it goes way back for me as well. Like when I still remember this comment. Like when I was 12, this guy, and he was new in our school. I'm actually just remembering this. He was new in our school and he lived in the same little town as two of my friends. And two of my friends were talking like, oh yeah, Lily. And because he was new, he didn't know who I was. He was like, oh, who's Lily again? And they started describing me. And he was like, oh, it's the girl with the big bum.
And
we were 12. Problem. We were 12. And I was just like, my friends then told me, and for the longest time, I was so self-conscious about my booty and that it was big and that guys like that it just really messed with me. And then when I started twerking, it was just like, fuck that. This is mine. I love it. I love this part of me. And I can do whatever the fuck I want with it without other people having an opinion about it. So for me, it was also like an experience of just reclaiming what is mine and realizing that it's okay that it's there. So that is probably also why I'm so vocal about other people twerking, and I want them to like learn it. And that is just, for a lot of women, it can just be something so powerful and something to really reclaim what you might have lost while you were younger. So that's my story. That's
actually so funny that you said that, because it reminded me that as much as I was trying to make myself more boyish and stuff, the butt part was the one that came back, because it was just there and they would kind of just try to grab it. It was like they were allowed to grab it because it was there. And I was like, when did this become allowed? Like, don't touch me. It's very, I can't believe that so many women must have gone through this as well.
And then also like what we are talking about obviously in this episode a little bit more is like, what is the relationship between being sexy or beautiful or whatever and being perceived as dumb or like not smart? Like, why can you not see those things together? And I read this thing actually about about cars. So if you have two cars, a sports car, like a flashy sports car, and a minivan, and they're both the same price, like there's nothing different about them, like which one of the two would you say that would break down first, that would not make, like that's not gonna live 20 years. Most likely, a lot of people are going to say the minivan will last you forever, and the sports car is gonna break down because it's flashy, it's beautiful, so it can't last that long. Like they were focused on something else. And that's kind of the same as in people. I feel, or like I read this and it just really resonated. I was like, that's it. People cannot see those two together. They can't see like, okay, and you're beautiful or sexy or whatever, and you're durable, you're like smart, and you can go a long way,
reliable in their own
exactly
way. I like that.
Yes. So I read that and it was just spot on. I thought,
I think it is. It's really cool. It's reminding me of like this book that I need to finish, but there was this quote.
Don't we all have books like that?
Start of the book. Probably started this a year ago, but never mind. It's called The Beauty Myth.
Don't say that. We'll cut this out.
Please.
Please do.
It says, the beauty myth tells a story, like the quality called beauty objectively and universally exists. Women must want to embody it, and men must want to possess women who embody it. And the truth is, this is not true. Beauty is a currency system, like the gold standard. Like any economy, it is determined by politics. It's the best belief system that keeps male dominance intact because it makes women compete against each other instead of empowering each other.
That is so true. That's so like my job.
True. Yeah, again.
That is so true. Yeah. And it's also
society's like just
whenever women progress, wow, talking's hard. Like there's something else that like gets into like fashion to shift the focus basically. So you have to shave your legs, or you have to wear this or this, or like there's so many standards for women to make sure that we compete, not just with each other, but also with ourselves. Like, how can you compete with the hair growing on your body? Like, it's just a strange.
It's natural. It's because society is putting the focus on our insecurities. So we feel less than, or we feel we need to buy more of this or change ourselves. And then we can't focus on the fact that we don't have the same rights as men.
Exactly. Awkward. We do not have the same rights. Not anywhere in the world is like a woman completely empowered the same rights. But and I feel like also I read this thing about how yes, beauty standards are different in all cultures, but in a lot of religious cultures, their beauty is always connected to sin. It's always seen as a distraction. It's always seen as something suspicious. And like, therefore, like people, see the beauty as like a bigger thing that it is, which kind of upholds this idea of, okay, when you're beautiful, you must be incapable, or you're a distraction, or you're a sin. And people rationalize that with the idea that beautiful individuals, they can just focus on that. They don't have to dive deeper into their intelligence or like their wisdom and knowledge, because they are beautiful and they can get whatever they want just with their beauty. Which is obviously fake. Like, you can't just sit with your beauty and not, I don't know, dive deeper into yourself and grow as a person. But I have to admit that when I was younger, I would say stuff like that as well. I would say stuff like, oh yeah, they are so beautiful, so they didn't work on their personality, which is such a toxic thing and such a toxic idea. But that was something that was how I remember it, super common for people to say, like, okay, if you're beautiful, then you don't dive deeper into your personality, or you don't grow your personality. You don't have to
work harder or something.
Exactly.
It's like how
you don't have to
like,
work on it.
Hoping that at least she's funny. Have you heard that before?
Oh,
yes.
As well? Whoa, yes.
Like guys that are gonna have settle for girlfriends that don't have great looks or something, because at least they're funny or something, or at least they won't cheat or something like that. Just
whoa, this is the same. That's so connected. That's the same thing. Damn.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my God. It goes
it's
everywhere.
sick. Yeah. And
And
I
it's
feel,
internalized misogyny as well, that
yeah,
we took this as our beliefs too,
exactly. And that
making us compete even more against each other. Like
oh
we're
my God,
taking
this negative
something
cycle.
away.
You know what the thing is, like, our what I hope that people get from this is that
Yes.
you can be both. And that's what we're going to talk about in this podcast more and more, about how you can do both. You can be smart and sexy, and like we are.
Yes.
Yes.
Multidimensionality, bitches.
Exactly. We can do
You
both.
are not limited to just one thing.
Yes. And that's what I hope
like
that we can teach people, or we can show people, that you don't just have to be one or the other. You can shake your booty in front of people in short shorts, and you can still go to uni and do stuff. Like, yes, you can. Which I also
you
like.
being sexual doesn't take anything away from you.
Exactly. It doesn't, and it shouldn't be perceived like that. So
exactly
what I think, what I ended my post with, to circle back all the way to the caption that you mentioned, like I said, I'll read it to you. Like, whenever I hear people say that, I think that sounds like a you problem. If you cannot, if you cannot concentrate, if you're distracted by my appearance, that says something about your brain capacity and not mine. So let's change the narrative. And I think that I hope that all the listeners will do that as well. Let's change the narrative.
Yeah.
If you cannot do your job while someone else is being their sexy self, maybe you are the one punching above your weight and not them.
Strong statement. I like it.
Yes. I think that should conclude this episode, because that's like, or that's strongly how I feel about it. Like, people need to think about how they perceive sexiness. And if you're distracted by it, then that is a you problem and not theirs.
I like that. In fact, the opposite is true.
Yes, exactly. Normally, or that's what we thought, normally we would want to end the episodes with listeners' questions about the topic that we're talking about.
Yes,
but obviously, because this is our first episode, we can't really do that. We don't have any questions from you guys yet. So hopefully next time we are going to post a poll on, or a question box on our Instagram. Go follow our podcast Instagram. I'll put it in the show notes. And then you can send us questions and we will answer them here.
Yes, I hope I'm so excited.
It was so nice talking to you again and talking about this subject. I hope you guys liked this first episode. Please go rate it, leave a little review so that we can make it to other listeners as well. We would really appreciate it. And then you'll hear us again in 2 weeks. Yes.
Okay. I cannot wait.
Love it. Bye.